Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Happy National Pink Day. And yes, it really is a thing, so it's a perfect reason to make a few pink cards. I have some white shimmer cardstock. I'm also using Catherine Pooler's Party Dress ink. I put some ink on my craft mat, spritz it with water. I'm using a paintbrush and just tapping the paintbrush lightly to put a splatter effect all over that shimmer cardstock. And this isn't watercolor cardstock, but I'm just putting that little bit of paint so it works out nicely. And there it is, all dry. Now I'll use Waffle Flowers Piercing Panel Die. So this will add this really fun texture all over the background. And I did trim it down just a little bit. So I'm adding lots of pink to this card. I have some Love from Lizi peel-offs. This is the pinstripe style. It's a light pink and it has a silver foil along the edge. It's really pretty. I'll put two of them along the top of this panel. And it's easy to get them straight. I'm just following the little pierced dots all over that background panel. I'll wrap the ends around the back, and they're not sticking very well since there's so much texture on this panel. So I will make sure to put some extra adhesive. I put some ATG tape down first, and now I'm using Barely Art liquid adhesive, running it along that outside edge, and then I'll put just a little bit in the center. This is not going to come off. Then I'll add it to some pattern paper. This is from Doodlebug Design. It's from their Dot Stripe Rainbow Petite prints. It's a 6x6 paper pad. And I will have links provided in the description box for all the products I use in this video. I did have to trim down that pattern paper just a little bit. I'll put some ATG tape on the back and adhere my card front to a card base. And this is an A2 size card, so 5.5 inches by 4.25 inches. Now for the image on this card, I'm using the newest Altenew Craft a Flower die. This just came out. This is the Peruvian lily. It's so pretty. Last month, I started a subscription to their Craft a Flower die set, and it's so fun. Every single month, I'll receive a new one. So here's the little subscription inspiration guide that is included. So the side on the left shows a few different ideas. There's also some inspiration for a mini stamp set, but I didn't receive that one. So here are all the pieces cut out. Of course, I'm going with a pink flower. So there's several different layers for this flower. I think it's at least 6, but you can leave out a few of them. You don't have to add all of them. So for that very background piece, I used some dark brown cardstock. You're only gonna see it through those little spots on the flower. I have 2 different colors of pink. And these are really easy to line up. If you just go with the base of the flower, it's super simple. You'll also want to make sure those little spots all line up so you can still see that dark brown cardstock in the back. It does help to have a pair of tweezers. I'm using some reverse tweezers, they're my favorite. Just hold those pieces, add some liquid adhesive to the back, and then adhere it in place. So here's where you really want to line up those little spots. For this little piece, I thought I had it upside down. Sometimes it's harder to see at an angle since I'm not looking directly over it while recording, but I got everything lined up. Now for this little center, I didn't use both pieces. So there's an example of leaving one of them out. I wanted to have a little extra sparkle since I used some pink glitter paper for that piece. And then one final piece for the flower. It's the little petal folded over, so it looks very dimensional. The die set this month only includes one style of leaf. There's 3 different pieces to assemble them. Some months there's a few more leaves. So for the very top layer, I used some shimmer cardstock just for a little extra detail. I selected very soft colors for this card. So I have that softer pink and the soft greens. I think they work well together. So there's my flower and the 2 leaves. So I can start assembling the rest of my card. Tuck those leaves underneath the flower, try to figure out placement first. Put some liquid adhesive on the leaf on the right. And I'm going to have the very tip of the leaf go off of that white paper, but not off of the card. I still want it to stay within that A2 size. Now for the flower, since it is going on top of those thick leaves, so those leaves are 3 layers of cardstock, I'm going to add some thin foam dimension to the back where it's not touching the leaves. So I like to hold it up to my card to feel where I need to add a little extra dimension. So then I'll remove the release paper, and I dropped them right on top. So once those are removed, I'll add a little bit of liquid adhesive where it's going to be touching some of the leaves, and then adhere it to the card. For the sentiment, I'm using a Pretty Pink Posh stamp. This is their simple sentiment stamp set. Decided just to go with the general sentiment, thinking of you. I stamped it on some white shimmer cardstock, so the same stuff I use for the background, and then just adhered it down with some liquid adhesive. For a finishing touch, I'm using some really pretty pink crystals from Studio Katia. I'll add 2 in the upper left-hand corner above the sentiment, 2 in the lower right-hand corner, and then 1 above that leaf on the right side. I'm using an embellishment wand to pick those up since they don't have adhesive on the back. Just add that drop of liquid adhesive first and then adhere them to the card. So there is my finished card. I love how this one turned out. Those Craft a Flower dies are amazing and so easy to use. I highly recommend them. Now moving on to card number 2. I'll be using some pattern paper this time. This is by Blvd. It's their brand new My Candy Girl collection. And there's lots of fun bright pink patterns included. I have some confetti pattern paper for the background and these darling little unicorns for that larger piece. Layered everything with some pink cardstock. And for the sentiment, this is from Jaded Blossom. This is their Happy Hello sentiment set. I love this set. I've already stamped out hello. I have it on a stitched oval die cut, and now I'm adding the word happy right above it. And I use that same Catherine Pooler party dress color ink. I'll have the very right side of that oval go off of the edge. So I just held it up, flipped over that panel, and trimmed it off. Before adhering the oval down, I am adding a small scrap piece of cardstock on the very right-hand side where it goes off of that unicorn paper, just to keep everything level. Then I'll add ATG tape on the back and adhere this to some pink cardstock. And my cardstock layers are 1/8 of an inch more than the pattern paper. Put some more ATG on the back and put my card front onto a card base. And I'll leave that 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Next, I'll use one of the dies from Jaded Blossom's banner die set. They have so many fun designs on this set. And I'm using the traditional banners, at least I think they're the traditional look. I did cut off 2 of those banner flag pieces since I don't need that many for a vertical card. Put some liquid adhesive on the back and I'll adhere it in that upper left-hand corner. Now I love that the die set also has the little stitched banners to go inside. So they have the full-size piece and then there's also this smaller piece. And I cut those out from some Pink and Main pink glitter cardstock. Just adding some liquid adhesive to the back and centering them onto those banners. So this card will have a lot of sparkle. And I like that Pink and Main's glitter paper doesn't shed glitter at all. I felt that upper left-hand corner needed a little something extra, so I'm using some pink and white twine. This is just twine I've had for years. I believe it's from the Twinery, but I'm not sure if they're open anymore. I have 2 pieces and tied a double bow. And I trimmed down the tails. To adhere it to the card, I'll stick it on a small glue dot and then adhere it to the left side of all those banners. Then a finishing touch, bringing in some bling that I've had for years. I know this is not available any longer, but I love all the different pinks on here. So I'll add 2 of them in the lower right-hand corner, 2 in the upper left-hand corner, and 1 next to the sentiment. So there is my finished card. I love all the pink on this card. It's so much fun. Isn't it fun? There's a National Pink Day. So June 23rd every year. I have it marked on my calendar, although I don't think I'll be able to forget. It's such a fun day and a great reason to make pink cards. Although I really don't need a reason, I can always make pink cards. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.